Head over to lessonsontheweb.com to get great lessons like this one and much, much more. Hey everybody, Tim here back again, and today we are doing another counting lesson. This time we're going to do a lot of the stuff we've already talked about, a review of quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, triplets, and things like that, but this time we're going to do it in the time signatures of, instead of 4-4, which we've been doing, we're going to do 3-4 and 2-4, and just go over basically what those are. It's very simple. That's why it's kind of a review and just an introduction to those time signatures as well, because it's pretty simple. But anyway, let's just see what we have and get started. So here we have the staff once again. And we need a time signature, so we're going to go down the list and we're going to pick. Let's do 3-4 first. There we go. Move the measure number out of our way. So now, the difference between 3-4 and 4-4, there's only one difference, and it's that in 3-4 there are 3 beats in a measure, and in 4-4 there are 4 beats in a measure, and in 2-4 there's 2 beats in a measure. But here we have 3 beats in a measure, so in a measure of 3-3, or 3-4, sorry, you can have 3 quarter notes. You can have how many eighth notes? Well, eighth notes worth half of a beat, so you can have 6 eighth notes. Before we had 8 in 4-4, but now it's a little different. Now, how many half notes can you have? Well, you can only really have one half note and then have a beat left over, which you can fill in with a quarter note. So just going over the different kind of rhythms you can put in there. There are no whole notes in 3-4, because a whole note takes up too many beats. Let's see what happens when we want to put a whole note in. Yeah, see, it ties it over to another beat. So there are no whole notes. If you wanted 4 beats, like it says, actually, you can have a dotted half note tied to a quarter note, and that'll work out pretty well. You can have a quarter note and the rest eighth notes. And then once you finish the line here, I will play all this for you. Here, how many triplets can we have in a measure of 3-4? Well, let's take a look. And while I'm putting this in, think about what the answer might be. Obviously, as I get closer, it'll become more and more apparent. So we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. So you have 3 triplets in 3-4. So it would be counted 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, or 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. There is no 4 triplet. I'm used to counting in 4-4. Since 4-4 is probably the most common time signature there is. Let us take a look at 16th notes. How many 16th notes? Let's not do that. Let's we're gonna do 16th notes. How many 16th notes can we have in a measure of 3-4? Hopefully you said, so I'm filling this in, think about what the answer might be. Hopefully you said 11, 12. So you have 12 total there. 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 4 times 3, is 12. So you have 1 E and, so you have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and no 4 E and because there are no 4 beats in the measure. So let's just take a look at the counting of each of these measures. Let's start with this first one. We kind of went over this, but I'm going to write it in. So we have 3 quarter notes, which is just going to be counted as beat 1, 2, 3. Pretty simple. So let me write that in. And then you have the eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and, because we need to split. Remember with eighth notes you need to split the beat in half using the term and. So if you don't know that, go back and look at one of the earlier lessons in the series to see, to learn about that, and then about eighth notes. And then you have the next measure, beats 1 and 2. Is going to be held by a half note, 1, 2, and then you have beat 3, the quarter note. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. Next measure, got to start over at 1, and then how am I going to count the rest of the measure? Think about it for a second. I'll give you that this is 2, not 21, but 2. Got and. 3 and, so you got 1, 2, and 3 and. And then the next one I kind of counted when we were doing it, Remember, it's going to go 1 triplet. Help if I could spell today. You have 2 triplet, 3, and no 4 triplet. Why is that? Well, it's because we're in 3/4 now instead of 2/4. There's 4/4. That's what we did last time. Let us take a look. We're going to count this as 1. How am I going to count the rest of beat 1? We have 4 16th notes. We took the first quarter of that 16th note run, or we took one of the 16th notes, and that's 1. How are we going to split up the beat into 4 parts? Well, the answer is using the term E and A. So you have 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. So again, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. So, by the way, and is represented as a plus sign in case you're confused. So there we go. We have 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A. And that just about does it. I think that's a pretty good coverage of 3/4 and all the different kinds of note durations you can have with those. I noticed that we didn't do dotted quarters, but we haven't gone over that yet, so we will do that at a later time. Let's go over here and make another rhythmic staff, another rhythmic example, rather. So now we need what? We need a time signature. So the other time signature we're talking about today is 2/4. As soon as I can find it on the list, it's the first one. There we go. 2/4 now. So now what's the difference between 2/4 and 3/4? Hopefully you said that 2/4 has 2 beats in a measure, and 3/4 has 3 beats in a measure, and that is it. How many quarter notes can you have in measure 2/4? Well, you can have 2. Beats 1 and 2. You can have only one half note. So quick trick question, how many dotted half notes can you have? Think about it. It is 0. You can have 0 dotted half notes, and that's because a dotted half note will take up 3 counts. Instead of a dotted half note, let's see what happens when we try to put in dotted half note. It's a half note tied to a quarter note, which would make up the 3 beats, but it spans over 2 measures, unlike before. And now you can't have a whole note, because a whole note would just be a half note tied to a half note. I'd put money on it. There you go, that's what it is. So you can't have those, because we only have 2 beats per measure. You can have, not that, we can have, how many eighth notes? Well, there's 2. And we still have 1 beat left, so there's 2 more, so that's 4. That measure would be counted as 1 and 2 and yeah, you really can't do quite as much with 2/4 because there's less beats per measure. So how many triplets can we have? Well, while I'm doing this, think about it. It's less than it was before, obviously. So you can have 6 triplets. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, splitting those 2 beats up into 3 parts. And then how many 16th notes can you have? Think about it while I'm filling it in. Hopefully you said 8 16th notes. And so you have 1 E and A, 2 E and A, like before. And that's pretty much it. Let me fill these in real quick just to kind of go over these again. It beats 1, 2, so that measure is going to be counted as 1, 2, and then this counts over for 1 and 2, so you have 1, 2, then you have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then how am I going to count this measure? Well, you have 1 triplet, 2 triplet, and then you have 1 E and 2 E and for that last measure. 1 E and 2 E and So there you go. Those were the 2 time signatures we were doing today. Let me bring my face back up. Yeah, so that was the 2 time signatures we did today. We did 3/4, which has 3 beats per measure, and 2/4, which only has how many? 2 beats per measure. Remember, the top number tells you how many beats per measure. The bottom number tells you which note gets 1 beat. Next for the rhythmic lesson, I'm not sure exactly what we will do. We're either going to do dotted quarter notes or we're going to do some an introduction in the 6/8. I think we're going to do dotted quarter notes. But anyway, you'll find out in the next video. So thanks again, as always, for watching, and I'll see you for the next lesson. Thank you.